Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to another high-level game of StarCraft 2. Today in the top left as our blue Terran, the man, the myth, the legend, by some considered to be the GOAT. It's of course Maru here. Blue colors as our Terran player. And in the bottom right, also playing for the same team, our Zerg, is going to be Solar. Interesting matchup between these two. I don't necessarily think that both of them are at their peak of what they've been in even recent times, to be quite honest. I feel like Solar, I'm thinking of Solar like a year ago, a year and a half. I'm not necessarily saying he was better than Dark, but I think there were quite a few things that he was better at than Dark when you look at just the Korean Zergs. And right now I'm not so sure if that's going to be true in a single matchup where I'd favor Solar over Dark. I'm even thinking maybe Shin, the player formerly known as Ragnarok, might be considered better than Solar at this moment. Maru, on the other hand, I mean, it's not a huge difference, but I do believe he has dropped a little bit in the hierarchy when it comes to players, where before it always felt like him and Serral really were on top of the world. It feels like that nowadays there are a couple of players that could say, hey, I might want to be on that second spot. You know, a Clem, a MaxPax. You could even sometimes say a hero, perhaps. Kind of deserves to be there above Maru at least. Maybe not necessarily on the second spot, but I don't entirely know where Maru ranks at the moment. It is difficult because he doesn't play as many online cups as some of the other higher level players. Like with MaxPax and Clem, I really know where their level is at any time because I see them play so freaking often. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure. We do see Maru opening up with something that he's been doing a lot, has done a lot in the past, and will continue doing so into the future. It's going to be the double barracks Reaper. Solar has a very funny way of dealing with it, and that's just by sending his drone extremely far away. This is kind of like a meta game, like a personal meta game, where Maru knows that the drone is somewhere, because Solar always does this. Sadly, Maru doesn't quite know where it is, and Solar really, he sent it out very far this time. It is gonna get spotted though, and that drone is gonna fall, and that's the drone that wants to build the third base, so it is actually pretty freaking important that this happened. Solar now is gonna send out another drone, and that also is gonna get caught here by these Reapers. It's not gonna die, but it's gonna get pushed back. It almost actually did die. That last shot was on the drone. That would have been quite something. You have a factory now coming out. It's going to be triple CC here as well for Maru as a follow-up. Well, for now, just 2 hatches on the side of Solar. 44 supply already. Going to need to continue pushing out drones on these 2 bases, and this really is an issue because of the simple fact that you are starting to oversaturate either your main or your natural. So the moment a Zerg player usually saturates the main and the natural fully with drones, like we have right now, full mineral saturation, they want to start sending workers over towards the third base location to keep that optimal mining. Now, Solar, well, you can still saturate this gas, that is something, but after that, it's just going to be oversaturation or take a quicker gas. And we're indeed seeing that fast extra gas coming in here. Otherwise, you're just going to be losing quite a bit of mining. Like, the workers are not as efficient. If you have 16 workers, 17 workers per base, on minerals, that's fine, but if you go above 18, 19, 20, these workers are not as efficient as the earlier workers, and if you go above 20, these workers are not doing anything, just bouncing around the mineral patches and not providing any additional income. So this makes a lot of sense. We're going to have to wait for this base to actually end up finishing, and then we can send some drones over there. So a little bit more gas earlier on here for Solar, a little bit lower on the minerals. Now, we shouldn't forget, of course, that Maru also didn't open with the best economy in the entire world. He did have a second barracks before that CC, but it was all of a single refinery. That means that his mineral eco actually is quite decent behind all of this. Did he manage to deal a lot of direct damage? The answer to that is going to be no. He cleared a single drone. That's the drone that we saw fall over here. Still is going to have a little bit of potential damage. We're going to see an attack right now. Link count is only at 10. Combination with the Liberator, maybe could do something. Let's have a look. Links are working on these rocks. That's something at least. Gonna now move back. Lip enters the main base. No Spore here. Just a single Queen as well. It's going to need to move in position to deal with this. I get another setup on this Lip. Single shot on the Queen. Yes, it's going to get it down. Liberator will once again need to set up in another position to try and get a little bit of damage in. Is he going to do just that? This is nice positioning on that Lip. It's going to get the Queen kill. During all of this, I think there was a little bit of back and forth between the Queens and the Reaper Hellion stuff. This Lip is just going to fall to the Spore. I don't really think there's much that Maru can do about this. He's going to pull it away, but it's simply too late. Double drops moving out at the same time are going to clear this Overlord. We have a game on our hands here. Solar with higher supply, higher worker count. But does he have the units available to deal with this? Yes is the answer. He has the units available to deal with this particular drop. It's not a whole lot of Marines. They're not very well upgraded because they have no upgrades except Stim. They don't have combat. They don't have the 1-1 infantry weapons or armor. However, with good maneuvering, Terran players can often make something work anyway. Spore's now moving on position to try and deny these drops from heading back in. Overlord's going to get pushed back but won't end up dying. So I think overall a fairly even game moving into what most people would consider the mid game. And the first set of upgrades is going to end up finishing. Baneling speed has started. I think this is the official start of the mid game. Ooh, a couple of active tumors here gonna get cleared. Drone also gets taken out. That means a delayed 5th base. We see Solar already struggling mightily to spend his cash and not getting extra larva here in a timely manner. Could potentially bite him in the bum a little bit. 2-2 starts instantly, and I'm waiting for that infestation pit as well as Hydra then to be thrown down. This is the Solar standard. This is what he has been doing for, I want to say, more than a year and a half. It's just Ling Bane into Hydralisk, into 2-3 Vipers, into a fake Lurker then, maybe with a Nidus, into the main base, an attempted Nidus, and then just going back into pure Hydra, Ling, Bane, Lurker. Eventually we'll see some Brood Lords. That tends to be the plan. This is a huge counterattack, by the way, here. Not so sure if Maru is ready for it. Here we have one Ling. This is the scouting Ling. He's on a sniffing mission here. Nothing there, no tank shooting at me. Hey, this looks good. Wants to go in. I think he could have committed here. There's really not that much defensively. Really nothing at all defensively. 2 tanks are here kind of covering for these Marines. This hatch is actually gonna fall. Now Solar's gonna decide to go in and he's gonna clear this up. I feel like he wasted some valuable time because now there's another tank here on the high ground. CC is gonna get cancelled. Solar also lost his fort though. He's gonna have a new fort base coming up pretty soon. Maru, of course, gonna take a while for this thing to build, but worker count extremely close. Infestation pit just now going down. Hatchery going up in the main base as well. Ugh. Yeah, this is nasty. This is not good. Yeah, it's gonna get caught as well. Absolutely failed project there. Out of Solar, that Baneling run by. No sensor tower yet. How many tanks do we have? Just a single one. Once more. This actually is trouble. This is trouble here for Maru as the Lynx run in. And they're gonna clear that tank, guaranteed. They're gonna get a clear on that command center as well. And they might just end up getting a lot of worker kills. Banelings not being split off is a major blunder here out of Solar, who could have taken out 10, 12, 15 workers, but decides to move back. And as a result, doesn't get any of these workers. Now, there are 3 tanks here across the map. Gonna be a cancel on the 5th base. Ling Bane is moving back home. Oh, not the greatest micro. 2-2 is about to finish up once again. Solar, a bad timing on the fight here just before 2-2 finishes. Now his carapace level 2 is done and his +2 attack is also done, but that didn't really contribute anything in the fight. A rookie move. A couple of bad moves here in a row now coming out of Solar, who should have honestly been in a much better spot after what has happened in the past 30 seconds. Some small changes here could have greatly improved his position in this game. Clearing that high SCV count, like some major oversaturation on this base with the Banelings, would have been freaking huge. And waiting for the 2-2 upgrade, yeah, that would have been huge too. We're now going to have a double drop heading towards this 5th base. I think it's going to be another cancel. Solar was not in position here. These don't have great upgrades, but it's going to be good enough. Oh my god, that was a neat snipe on that drone. Do you see that? Single Marine drop, holy crap. Maru playing one hell of a game there. It's gonna transition now into full mine production. Has the factory pumping reactored mines. You have the drilling claws as well starting. And triple Vipers coming out. Show me what you got. Show me what you got here, Mr. Solar. Do we have some juice left in the tank to move across the map and maybe deal some damage? The tank count is pathetic. The factory unit count in general is kind of pathetic. And we only have 4 mines. You have a couple of links being sent out on the map. 5th base once again being rebuilt. Only 72 workers here. 72 is not a whole lot. Where's that Hydra then? Okay, it's around somewhere. I'm getting the grooved spines. After that, probably the muscular augments. Is this enough? I don't think that's enough at all, is it? That's absolutely not enough. That's a garbage call. You're gonna need some banelings in the mix. Yes, 0 banelings in this bottom side army. This is not going to be a very efficient trade if the banelings don't manage to connect. And the banelings, they don't manage to connect. So that wasn't necessarily a great trade. Now, parasitic bombs are going to help at dealing with these medevacs. At the same time, 2 Vipers will get sniped. Gonna need a bit more energy. A lot of medevacs might just end up falling though, as I think 3 end up going down. Basically every Marine falls too. Queen should not be capable of holding this, but the reinforcements are coming. Will the cavalry be in time? I think the answer is actually yes. Look at that. Banelings now rolling in forward. Well, a Baneling at least rolling in forward. Still have these Marines going ham in the main base as well. Not gonna get a lot of drone kills as the links pop back home. Adrenal glands is there, and that should be capable of dealing with low numbers of Marines relatively easily. Solar, though, doesn't really have the cash, and that could be an issue. That is an issue. He can't really easily reinforce this army, and if he loses this 5th base another time, which I think it would be like the 3rd or the 4th time that he's going to lose a hatch, he will be in some serious trouble. Right now, down in supply by about 20. Has to rebuild his Vipers, but he's been doing that. Don't really have any ghost out yet, and decent mine count at this point. I actually do like the mine count. It's better than decent. It's a good mine count. 10, 11, 12 mines. Those are the numbers you're really looking for as a Terran player. I'm getting a heavier Marauder force as well out on the map. Creep spread is still looking kind of tight here. Honestly, coming out of Solar. Infantry armor level 3 is about to finish up. It's faster than the infantry weapons. That's a mistake, a misclick. Mismanagement there on the timing of the initial upgrades. I think the 2-2, he also saw armor being too fast, which is just a blunder. Tiny little blunder, not the biggest one. Same time, we have a pure Ling attack here. If the Ling numbers are big enough, and the bio numbers more importantly are small enough, pure Ling sometimes can trade. But once the numbers become too big, you're really gonna need to get some type of Banes in there or some spell casting. Fungals can help out. Still, Banes generally, it's a very good tool here to have. So these mines will have some decent explosions. Maru's also gonna redrop, so it's not necessarily giving up. These mines are free. That was a good hit there. 15 or so links. This is not enough Banes, and there's also not a whole lot of Hydras, as we see a couple of parasitic bombs now coming in. Oi, 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 oi. Maybe shouldn't have zoomed in there so much, but actually, that fight was okay. It looked scary, and then Maru just kind of got pushed back. He still has the momentum, though. Hasn't really transitioned at all. This is a typical Maru play, to be honest. Maru is very keen often on keep attacking as long as he's winning, and in the moment he falls behind, he loves to just camp, sit back, relax, build some ghosts, build some tanks, build some mines, build some liberators. Then we go into a late game, and late game is very solid. Solar, I find, usually has most of his success on relatively high eco. We're talking 80 to 90 drones. Hydraling Bane, lots of rotations, being in control, but he does need to be in control. If he's not in control, he's just going to end up losing out in resources lost, and your opponent is going to continue expanding. Right now, it's Maru who's actually kind of curbing the economic progress of Solar rather than the other way around. So it's not a great look if you're playing a composition that's really designed to not to clear bases, which is what Solar is doing here. We hope he has some Vipers around. This is a good trade here for Solar. This trade is probably going to get a little bit better as well. Oh, I wish there were some spores here. That is almost criminal here, that this gets to escape. Almost criminal. Ah, and now it gets to redrop here as well. This is criminal. Not almost anymore. It's going to come in here and it's just barely any units. Pickup isn't that clean though. Base is going to survive. Drones haven't gone down. Ooh. Hydras will snipe that medevac. What's the overall ghost count? We're at 14 already. We're continuing our mine production. We now have a Nidus network, our first set of lurkers as well coming out, or at least our first lurker. Period. Where are you at, buddy? Oh, here we go. Has been scanned. With the advanced ballistics, which is the Liberator range, often can be of great help against Nidus worms, especially if lurkers want to pop out of these Nidus worms. Maru's once again trying to take some map control. Ooh. That's a neat position there for the lurker. It is gonna get cleaned up without, I can only imagine, too much trouble. The sensor tower will fall and we're gonna continue fighting here against these SCVs. I mean, a couple of ghosts or a single tank or a liberator all could be huge. Nidus network does go up over here. We have a massive move back. And this could mean that Maru is gonna end up losing this base. We at least see a lift here. Here come the Vipers moving in forward. A lot of ghosts on the left side. Ooh, blinding clouds are banging. Blinding clouds definitely banging. Links need to be split off. There we go. Finally we get a solid split off. And that is going to cost Maru a lot of workers here. Almost all of his workers in the third base. A couple do get to escape. Depots will fall. It's not going to supply block him necessarily. We have the opportunity for another Nidus in the main base. Ooh, we're now going for this. This is a mistake, I think. I don't like that. I don't appreciate that at all. He has no control there whatsoever out of Solar. Was going to continue building more and more of these lurkers. Did get scanned though. This also needs to be careful. Nidus network, or sorry, Nidus worm once again going up. This lurker I think might have died. Ooh, good control. Not gonna lose too many links. The links run into the third. Once again, there's no defense there, no tanks, no planetary. That means that these links, they're now gonna burrow, are gonna get scanned and thus revealed. New Nidus worm coming up as well. I'd love to see a full rotation here of this Hydra Link Bane army towards the bottom side, while at the same time we get a lurker over here. We get a lurker behind this, you know, just we get some more and further into that lurker harass, which I think can be so powerful. Oh, here we go. I mean, this just doesn't work, does it? Yeah, it's not the position. More lurkers are gonna move towards this top side. I actually think that having low lurker numbers is absolutely key, because you want to make it impossible for Maru to respond by sending his entire army there, or just sending a big portion of his army. You want it to be a small amount of units. That makes it much harder and in multiple locations. But if you send 5 lurkers in one place, I mean, you can justify sending freaking 6, 7 liberators there. So I love how Solar's just kind of leaving one lurker everywhere. He still has a couple here in the Nidus as well. Now, I feel like he has an opportunity to hit the right side. Am I crazy? I don't think I am. This base is completely undefended. This base is actually completely undefended. I think this is a prime opportunity. He's gonna attack into the Liberator spot instead. Like, what is this? It's like a mine and a half. Lurkers once again showing up. Do have pretty good eco here for Solar. Loving this eco even. Good bang. It's once again gonna move into a position that is fairly well guarded. Not with a lot of mine zone. The Hydras are pushing through. Do we have enough hits with the Banes is the question. Resources lost. Not looking great there for a Zerg player. Not looking that great after that fight. Lost a lot of stuff. Hasn't killed that much. It's now trying to re-establish this as an harassment spot. It is just not in range. It needs to be. There's one particular position that you can use, and he just keeps picking the wrong one. It is really sad, but it's just the truth. You need to be accurate here. Oh my god, that infestor got away with freaking murder. Absolute murder there. Can come from the back, and if you hit one of these fungals, that is potentially game changing. Let's have a look. What do we have over here? Can we get one of these fungals? Are the fungals available? At the same time, let's not forget, we have a little harassment force in this general area. Ooh, Solar's gonna move him forward. It's gonna clear a couple of these ghosts, maybe. We have an Unburrow and a fat fungal here. Ghosts are gonna go down against a bunch of these Bane. Liberators falling at a high pace. And this was a brilliant engagement here for Solar, who manages to put Maru down to 170 supply. Resources lost stays somewhat even, But if you're trading bank versus bank, in this situation as the Zerg, you're pretty happy because you're still out mining and you still have a bigger bank. And on top of that, you're kind of maxed. So you're feeling it. I really still believe that not clearing this earlier has been a mistake. Instead, attacking into these positions was not great. However, Solar now is honestly playing a good game. He's taking good fights. He's gonna get pushed back here and gonna try again. Doesn't have the Bane count here. And I also believe you need an Infestor. You're just gonna need Infestors. I mean, this Infestor is gonna die to a scan. There's still creep here. You can't spread creep and then have Infestors on the creep. That is not how this game works. Lurker needs to move away. Is it gonna be in time? It will not be in time. It's gonna get cleared. I hope we still have a Lurker around, because this Lurker raz has been really frustrating to deal with for Maru. There are some Lurkers on the side on this base as well. Baneling count is gonna grow once more. Infestor doesn't actually get spotted there. Does have a fungal remaining. Ooh, Maru not paying attention. These links can come back online. Marauder's actually gonna clear this Lurker. I really think this base... I mean, there's just no defense. There is just simply no defense here on this base whatsoever. Hydra Bane with links. Oh, that's a fat hit, by the way. It's like 15 kills. And he needs to clear this first. He first needs to clear these things. Here come a couple more mine shots. And now Maru desperately is trying to move into position. We still have these burrowed links over here. We have a massive army on the left side as well. This is not actually going to get taken out. I think the entire army should have gone there a long time ago. A long, long time ago. Infestor here is in between the bases. Could come in for the cheeky fungal. Ooh, it's going to get scanned instead. No more cheeky fungals for you. Solar feels like he needs to attack. I don't actually think he needs to. He just needs to be careful. And ideally, he would have killed the 6th base. Much, much earlier. And taken out this orbital with it. So the orbital count is 8. That's actually good. I was going to say it's not that good, but 8 is good. That's a neat number. Even if you lose 1, you still have 7. 7 is also a good number. Oh, both Vipers here falling. That's a very big deal. That was the only spellcaster we had left in the army. I don't think there's any infestors here whatsoever to speak of. Absolutely not. Maru now the one that wants to push him forward. Understandable. Can have a Ling Bane attack, but need to have an Overseer in order to deal with this. Oh no. Chaos, pain, and everything that comes with it. More pain and more chaos. Not having an Overseer here is really painful. It's going to make its way across the map, but you're just going to lose more units. Ghost moving back home as well, so that is it should be toast. That little force should be toast. There's no wall heading into the main base, so that obviously sucks. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of how Solar often clears the mines, as in he makes them shoot and then doesn't actually finish them off. He doesn't kill them with the help of the Overseer. So I mean, it's great if you're training like a mine shot for 2 links, but if you then don't attack into that position, it still sucks. Another huge mine shot. As yeah, the pain here continues for Solar. He's still gonna try to get a fight. There's no infestors here. What are we at? Resources lost 49k to 35,000. Legitimate pain. Legitimate pain. What can I say? It is just legitimate pain. Another infestor is gonna get cleared. Just like Solar doesn't understand that Terrans do want to scan creep all the time, and he just keeps leaving his infestors on the creep, and then they die, which is, I mean, unfortunate, but also kind of predictable if you ask me. Oh, this infestor is actually in range of the turret. That is annoying. That is really freaking annoying. Ooh. Solar almost managed to escape, then gets caught again. EMP hits it. That's going to be it for the infestor. Links making their way across the map, and triggering these mines. It is starting to trigger me because he's not cleaning them. He is just not cleaning them up. Infestor gets killed here. Baning's gonna connect. There's more links and Hydras now just moving through this force. They're gonna turn around and start fighting at this point, but we just don't have any spellcasters. We need spellcasters. Snipe. No, my god. This is... Solar here with some significant blunders. It really felt like there's been a lot of moments in this game where Solar had the chance to make something happen. And we've just seen a lot of mistakes out of him. We've smelled opportunities again and again and again and again. If I see the same mines just get another like 5 or 6 kills, it's just gonna frustrate me. It is already frustrating me. Liberator here, siege up. I mean, I just don't really see right now how Solar's kind of to get himself out of the hole that he dug himself into. It's going to be rough. It's gonna be, what's the opposite of digging? You dig yourself into a hole. It's gonna be a lot of climbing, I guess. Like you could dig like a little stairs or something. If you have a shovel in there anyway, I mean, it shouldn't be that hard. Although if you start digging from the bottom, there's a chance, of course, of a collapse in a big hole. And they always have like these news stories in the Netherlands. It's very popular for Germans to come to the Netherlands and start digging holes. For whatever. Oh my god, that was a huge fungal. Oh my god, that was a huge fungal. Oh, he's climbing out really freaking fast. Holy cow. Speed climber Solar over here. He gets out. He kills every single ghost. Honestly, I was winding down. I was getting ready, you know. This is it. Curtain soon. Took my sleeping pills already. Now, they don't kick in before the end of this game. Then the last 10 minutes of this game are going to be pretty boring. Gonna hear me. Oh my god, is this Burrows? He needs to fix this. What I was gonna say though is, oh, never mind. We have more action. What I was gonna say is that you always have these news stories. The Germans, they come to the Netherlands and they dig holes. It's really something that a lot of Germans do, kids. And then they dig like a very deep hole on the beach and then it collapses. And I feel like once every few years there's a kid that passes away because of that. It's awful stuff. It's also an odd hobby, is just digging holes. But I guess it is what it is. You know, don't judge it. What was I gonna say? Yeah, it still looks terrible for Solar. Despite that, it was a good catch, but the catch comes too late, you know? The catch comes too late. This is like catching Lugia after you've already been beaten in the Pokemon League. It's like, what's the point? You've already lost. It's over, Ash. Time to go home to Pallet Town. Hang up your Pokeballs and your belt and your hat. Go somewhere else. I was at a gaming convention last weekend, and there were so many people that were dressed like Ash Ketchum. I feel like there might be like a Pokemon revival coming up. You know, the pure Ash Ketchum cosplays. They were like the sheer numbers were out of this world. Like, actually, and I saw many. I saw very many compared to how little cosplays I saw in general. Yeah, this game is absolutely over right now, by the way. Yeah, GG gets called. Solar admits it as well. Admits defeat, and Maru is gonna get the victory here. All right, it's gonna be it for me for today. I hope you all did enjoy this phenomenal game. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hope to see all of you next time for more epic games of StarCraft 2. Perhaps the greatest game that has ever been made. Bye-bye.